Benvinguts i benvingudes a l'episodi número 8.
Hola, we're already on episode 8. Whoop whoop.
Yes, ¿cómo estás, Alex?
Molt bé, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Sí, genial. Great.
So what are we learning about today?
Today, we will be learning how to describe ourselves in Catalan and, I suppose, some of the vocabulary you can use to describe other things as well.
Molt bé. Let's go.
Som-hi!
Som-hi.
Primer de tot, first of all, we will learn some descriptions that use the verb ser or esser, which is to be. So, remind me what I am is.
Soc.
See? So, if you want to say, for example, I am tall, since Alex is 6'2", so you'd likely have to say this, you would say soc alt.
Soc al.
That's quite funny as well, because I've just realised that it's kind of like your name shortened, Al. So you say, soc Al, I'm Al, but I'm tall as well. There we go. It's actually spelled A-L-T, but we don't really pronounce that last T on the end. Soc Al. Now, before we go any further, there's an important thing we need to note here, a bit of grammar for you.
Oh, God.
So you've probably gathered... Oh, God. So you've probably gathered by now...
Both saying, oh, God, are we? Oh, God. Oh, good.
My phone's just like... So you've probably gathered by now that for one word in English, we sometimes have two words in Catalan.
Oh, I know what this is.
Go on.
It's the masculine and feminine versions.
Yeah. So al is the masculine. Do you want to have a guess as to what the feminine version might be?
Alia?
Kind of, yeah. So you add an A, okay? Simply adding an A is what we do most of the time for adjectives that end in a consonant. But because it's spelled as A-L-T, we actually have to pronounce this T now. So it's alta.
Ah.
So that actually shouldn't be too difficult. We add an A for the feminine versions a lot of the time. Now, the opposite of tall, to say you're short, you would say soc baix.
Soc baix.
See, soc baix. Or the feminine version, you probably guessed, soc baixa.
Soc baixa.
Soc baixa. So we have the word al or alta and baix or baixa.
Al, alta, baix, and baixa.
Molt bé. Al, alta, baix, baixa. Bé, continuem. Let's continue. If we want to be more general and say big or small, remember these can be useful to describe all sorts of things, not just people. We can say, for big, gran.
Gran.
Gran. It's a bit like your nan, gran. But it's pronounced more like gran.
As I was reading that and you said big is gran, and I was thinking my nan might be really offended by that.
Your nan's a bit big. It is gran.
So what would the feminine version of gran be?
Okay, so actually, if you wanted to describe your nan as big, you wouldn't actually change this word. Okay, there's actually no feminine version here, so it's also gran.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then small is petit.
I believe that's also how it is in French.
Yeah, petit.
Petit.
Petit or petite. But yeah, petit is masculine, but we also have to add an A in Catalan, so petita.
Petita.
Petita. Molt bé. Now we're going to do fat and thin. Fat is gordo.
Gordo.
Gordo. And for the feminine version, I'm going to get you to tell me this.
Gorda.
Sí, gorda. So actually, this one ends in O, and the O becomes an A, gorda, as well. Okay? Again, we don't really want to go around calling people fat, but, it could be used to describe things as well. Or not people, things. So thin is prim.
Prim.
Prim. Or prima.
Prima.
Prima. Genial. So, all of these adjectives, like I mentioned, you would usually use with the verb ser, which is to be, as in I am tall, you are short, he is thin, etc. Now, we haven't covered all the different versions of this verb, okay, how it changes in English, it changes as well in Catalan. But we'll talk a bit more about that in a near future episode where we learn to describe other people as well. Now, we're going to learn some other descriptions that use the verb tenir. Okay, it's a different kind of verb that we have already seen. Do you remember what that verb is? Alex?
I believe it is to have.
Yeah. What examples have we already seen?
It would be tink, trente anys.
See, I have 30 years. Yeah, when we talk about our age, we use think. So we're going to just stick to using this word think to describe ourselves. We might want to describe things like our hair and our eye colour, as these are all things that we have. We use that verb, I have brown hair, I have blue eyes, or whatever. Okay, so the eyes one is a bit tricky since, well, Alex, I don't even know what colour your eyes are. They're a bit weird. I mean, they're very nice eyes, but it's hard to explain their colour. Some days they look kind of blue, some days a bit green. There's also like a little bit of brown in there. Do you even know?
I mean, yeah, I literally struggle to describe what eye colour I have in English, let alone in Catalan. So.
Okay, well, we'll start with my eyes then. We'll learn the different ways of describing your eyes nonetheless. So my eyes are brown. Of course, being Spanish or Catalan, most people have brown eyes. I think it's the most common eye colour in the world. So, firstly, the word for eyes is ulls.
Ulls.
Ulls. Okay, this is a really weird kind of word. A lot of words have this weird double L sound. It's like a y sound that even I find a bit tricky to pronounce, to be honest, because sometimes I will just pronounce it like the y in Spanish, this double L. In Spanish, if you know, it's like a y me llamo, but it's slightly different in Catalan. It's like a more of an L-ish sound, the l and the y together. L. Can you try and say that? L.
L.
Yeah, but you can probably get away with saying y if you're not sure. Okay? So, to say I have brown eyes, we say tinc els ulls marrons.
Tink, els, ulls. Let's do that again.
It's alright. Ulls.
So I was
just,
trying to get
just
that.
try and say ulls.
Tink, els, ulls, marrons.
Marrons. Molt bé.
So the word for brown is marron?
Not quite. It's actually marró. Marrón is the Spanish version. So marró is the Catalan. You have to add ns to make it plural. So marró is singular. Marrons would be the plural since we have two eyes. It's got that tricky sound in there, the double R as well, which is like r. You have to try and roll your R's. So marró or marrons. Do you notice as well how you have to say, I have the eyes brown? Okay, so it's different word order. We add this extra word that we seem to like to add, the word for the, als, yeah, so remember that plural. Els ulls, and then the word brown goes after. Okay, again, like other languages, other Romance languages, we tend to say the adjective after the noun. Okay, so let's just learn some other adjectives, some other colours to describe eyes. We'll start with blue, which is blauw.
Blau.
Blauw. So, I have blue eyes would be, can you try and guess?
Tink els ulls blau. Blaus.
Blaus, molt bé. You have to add that S to make it plural. Okay? Green is ver.
Beth. Sounds like Jessie out of Little Mix.
The Jamaican accent. Beige. Sounded like you word vomited something like bleh. It does sound a bit strange. So, ver. Ver.
Let me try that again. Beth.
Yeah. I've got the giggles now. Okay, so you would then say, to say I have green eyes, tinc els ulls verds.
Tink els ulls bets.
Okay, let's do grey as well. You might have kind of grey eyes. The word for grey is gris.
Gris.
Gris. Okay, now to make this plural, it's not quite the same pattern. It would actually be grisus.
Grisus.
Grisus. So how might I say, I have grey eyes?
Tink els ulls grisus.
Sí, molt bé. Brilliant. Okay, we'll move on and describe hair now. Again, we'll stick to just the colours. Now, the word marró can't actually be used here to describe brown hair. Okay, it's not quite so easy. Again, if you're familiar with Spanish, it's similar. But in Catalan, we wouldn't say moreno, really. We shouldn't say like moreno. We would say castany.
Castan.
Castany. It's got that weird ñ end. The sound at the end is like ñ, again, a bit like the Spanish, the ñ, but it's a ny. So castany.
So, castaña.
Castany, sort of.
Castany.
Yeah, without that at the end sound. Castany. So if it's dark brown, because castany is more like a bit like hazel, like light brown hair. For dark brown, we just say the word fosc, okay, which literally means dark.
Fosc.
Fosc. That one wasn't too tricky. The word for hair is cabell. And again, we need to put the article before it, okay? So this time it's singular, it's just el cabell.
Ul cabell.
Molt bé. Again, it's got that weird double L sound at the end. El cabell. So to say, I have brown hair, we'd say, tinc el cabell castany.
Tinc el cabell castany.
Molt bé. Tinc el cabell castany. O tinc el cabell fosc.
Tinc el cabell fosc.
Tinc el cabell fosc. Also, just note here that you could use the verb ser, so we might say in English, I am brunette, and that would be soc more.
Soc more.
Soc more. And it changes for females. Soc morena.
Soc morena.
Molt bé. So to describe blonde hair, we'd say tinc el cabell ros.
Tinc el cabell ros.
Tinc el cabell ros. Or again, you could say I am blonde. Okay, so soc ros or soc rosa. So in that case, it needs to change depending on if it's a boy or a girl saying it. Soc ros, soc rosa.
Soc ros. Soc rosa.
See. Let's keep going. Ginger would be pèl roig. So, tinc el cabell pèl roig.
Tinc el cabell pel roig.
Pèl roig. Tinc el cabell pèl roig. Now, to say black, the word for black is negra. So, I'm going to hand it over to Alex to try and say, I have black hair.
Tinc el cabell negre.
Molt bé. Tinc el cabell negre. Okay. If we are slightly going grey, a bit like Alex is.
Shots fired. What was that about?
Some little grey hairs on the sides. So, you might want to just let everyone know that in Catalan. Why not? You would say, tinc el cabell gris.
Tinc el cabell gris.
Good. Again, like we saw gris earlier on for the eyes. So tinc el cabell gris. Or you might want to say white. Tinc el cabell blanc.
Tinc el cabell blanc.
Tinc el cabell blanc. Just note here as well, an extra little bonus word. If we are kind of still young and we have our, not white hair, we might sometimes, if we find a white hair, you would say, tinc una cana.
Tinc una cana.
Yeah, so una cana, okay, or sometimes canas, if you've got several, they're starting to come out. That's how we say the white hair. Tinc una cana or tinc varias canas. Okay, right, we're going to practice this a little bit now with some translations. Firstly, Catalan to English to start off a little bit easier. So, again, you listening at home, try and translate, and then Alex will have a go. So, first one. Soc alt I prim. Tinc els ulls marrons I el cabell negre.
So, soc al would be that I am tall.
Mm-hmm.
I prim. So it would be I am tall and thin.
Yeah.
Then it would be I have... Oh, what was it? Tinc. So it would be I have brown eyes.
Yeah, tinc els ulls marrons I el cabell negre.
And black hair.
And black hair, molt bé. Okay, número 2, second one. Soc baixa I gorda. Tinc els ulls blaus I el cabell ros.
So that would be I am short and fat.
Yeah.
And I also have... it would be blue eyes and... Ross. What was Ross? Ross hair.
Ross.
What was Ross?
Forgotten it. I have thrown a lot of new vocab at you.
Ross.
You can say soc ros as well, or soc rosa. I am...
Blonde.
Blonde, yeah. Okay. So you can see how we're starting to, combine these together. We're putting them together and using connectives like I, yeah, and. Last one. Soc petit. No soc gran. Tinc els ulls verds I el cabell pèl roig.
So petit. Okay, so I've confused myself because petite is either small or thin.
It's small.
Small.
Yeah, small.
Okay, I was getting confused because we've already had short.
Yeah. It's kind of just more general if someone's small. It's a bit of a synonym with baix. But yeah,
Okay, so it was
small.
So I am small.
Yeah. And then I said something slightly different. No soc gran.
So I believe this is... So I'm not big.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure if I don't think we've covered it yet, kind of negatives. Simply by putting a no in front of that verb, no soc means I am not. Yes, I'm not big, I'm small. And then I said, tinc els ulls verds I el cabell pèl-roig.
So this would be, I have green eyes
Yeah.
and I have ginger hair.
Yeah, brilliant. And I forgot to mention that, again, you could say I am ginger. So you could say soc pèl-roig or soc pèl-roja. Okay, for a girl. Right, let's end with, other way around, some English into Catalan. Okay, slightly trickier. So, can you try and translate? I am short and thin. I have brown eyes and grey hair. Okay, so I can break it up for you. I'll do the first sentence again. I am short and thin.
Soc. Petit was small.
Yeah.
So it'd be soc basha.
Yeah, if you were a girl, you would say soc basha.
Oh, soc bash.
Yeah.
I prim.
Yeah, prim. Or prima if you're a girl. And then I said I have brown eyes and grey hair.
Tink. Ulls. What was it? Eyes?
It's not a weird word.
Ulls.
Ulls.
Ulls. I got it there. So it's tink, els, ulls, marron.
Make it plural.
Oh. Tink, els, ulls, marrons.
Vale.
I el cabell gris.
See, brilliant. Really good. Yeah, remember that word for the colour goes after the noun. So altogether, soc baix I prim, tinc els ulls marrons I el cabell gris. Okay, number 2. I am tall and fat. I have black hair and green eyes.
Soc al. I.
Do you remember what fat?
No, I'm struggling to remember what fat was. Sorry.
It's alright. I can give it to you. Gordo. Yeah, gordo.
Gordo.
Yeah, Gordo. Did anyone watch Lizzie McGuire? There was a guy called Gordo in it back in the day. So gordo or gorda if it's a girl or a feminine noun.
So it would be soc al I gordo. Gordo.
Gordo. Yeah. And then I said, I have black hair and green eyes.
So tinc els ulls negra.
Black hair.
Black hair. Oh, yep, sorry, I was jumping straight to
Yeah.
I had got used to us going eyes first.
See, I switched it up. That's the thing. It's all about manipulating the language here.
So it would be
This time we need to say hair first.
so I have black hair, so it'd be el no
Yeah, we use
Al.
the singular.
el cabal.
Cabell.
Oh.
Careful, that's the word for horse, cabell.
Maybe I have a black horse.
Maybe.
So it's ul cab. What was it? Say that again.
Cabell.
Ul cabell. Negra.
Negra.
I tinc els ulls verde.
Nearly. Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, bears. Verde is actually Spanish, which I don't know how you did you just guess that. 'Cause you've never done Spanish before. I've done French at school a little bit, but yeah, verde is Spanish. Ver is Catalan, or vers would be the plural. Okay, so all together, soc alt I gordo, tinc el cabell negre I els ulls verds. Last one. I am big. I am not small. I have grey eyes and white hair. Do you remember what you said about your certain family member being big?
Yeah, see, I was struggling there. I was trying to remember
Do you
what.
remember the word big?
So big would be gran.
Yeah.
So it'd be soc gran. E. So it'd be E no soc petit.
Yeah. Soc gran, no soc petit. I have grey eyes and white hair.
So we're eyes first. So it would be tinc els ulls. Gris. I know.
Plural.
Grisos.
Grisus, yeah.
Grisus.
Grisus. And white hair.
And white hair. So it'd be tinc els ulls grisus I el cabell.
Cabell.
White. White was... That was the last one we did as well.
Yeah.
White was...
Probably forgot it because you're like, oh, we're at the end now. That's it. Same as French, actually. Well, the spelling, anyway. You've gone mind, what? Mind?
Blank.
Mind blank.
Blank.
Yeah, blank. So blank is white. So altogether, soc gran, no soc petit, o petita, tinc els ulls grisos I el cabell blanc. Molt bé! There you go. You've translated those really successfully. I'm really kind of pleased with how you did, Alex.
Thank you.
So you can see how, we've changed the language a little bit. We're starting to really manipulate the language and the grammar of these different sentences. So now you've seen some translations. Could you have a go at giving me your own description of yourself? Whoever's listening, think of how you could describe yourself, and Alex is going to describe himself.
Okay, so in English, I am tall and thin.
Just say it in, just say it in Catalan and see if the listeners can understand.
Okay. So it would be soc alt I soc prim. I'm going to do this again. There was too big a pause.
It's fine.
Tinc els ulls.
Do tell, Alex.
Tinc els ulls. Blau. Marron. Baix. No, baix. I'm trying to remember what green was.
Bers.
Bes.
Ber or bers. Yeah, so we have to make the words plural as well. So how would blau change?
Blaus.
Yep, and then marron.
Marrons.
Marrons. Y bers.
I bas.
Bers.
Bes.
See? Y el cabell.
I cabell. No, I ul cabell.
El cabell.
Negre.
See, negra. I'd say it's probably black, isn't it? Very dark brown or black. Okay. Hopefully you at home.
I. Seeing as you outed me. I. Una cana.
Una cana? Oh, you got more than one. You got quite a few, Grace. Sorry, babe. So, okay. We will leave it there. Hopefully you at home as well could give your own description and you could understand what Alex just said there as well. Muchas gracias. Thank you for listening. We would love for you to get in touch as always with us, and if you could leave us a review, we would love you forever.
As long as it's a good review, anyway.
Yeah, true. Well, we do appreciate any sort of constructive criticism, I suppose. So do let us know if there is anything that you'd like us to do to improve the podcast as well. So that's it from us. We will see you next week. Fins aviat.
Adeu.
Adeu.